meaning they have no real wealth. They have no real wealth, so that's Disney World. And we want to go after the superior standards of that? Come on, let's look at what we're doing. We hold this as high. You hear him talking about, I love America. I love this country. You love nothing but a deficit, a spiritual deficit, a mental deficit, a relationship deficit, an economic deficit. Every type of deficit that you can imagine. We think we just have an economic deficit in America. No. That's only a recognition of other deficits. That's just the one. But for you to have an economic deficit, that means you're going to have some other ones. Because if you got spiritual enlightenment, then you have nothing but infinite abundance. So you can't have an economic deficit unless you're deaf, dumb, and blind. You deficit, all right. Because they can't hear the voice of truth. They're saying all this belongs to everybody. So they have a deficit. Because if you keep trying to withhold it from everyone, you withhold it from your damn self. And now you're a slave to the matrix that you have set up. Which is nonsense to begin with. But to have an economic deficit, they must have other deficits. Mental, physical, spiritual, and they do. But we look after them. And we hold their culture and their reality in the highest of standards. And that's what we want. But we're missing out. Because it wasn't their culture that allowed us to survive through slavery. Off the foods that we're eating today, I mean the stuff that we ate in slavery was more healthier than the stuff we eat today. The worst food that we ate in the slave house, in the slave quarters, is better than the McDonald's burger. It's better than Burger King and Wendy's and White Castles. It's a White Castle, not a black one. The worst of the food we ate in the slave quarters is better than the food that we eat today. Why? Because now the pigs are genetically engineered. So you ain't even eating chitlins anymore. You eating worse than that. Because at least the pig was a real pig. Today you don't know what the hell you eat. They take some fat, some breathing fat, and hook it up to a machine and pump it for a few years. You're not even eating a living entity anymore. So the best food that we work to buy and eat at their restaurants is worse than the worst food in the slave quarters. Comparatively. Because at least when you ate in the slave quarters, it was organic pork. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that they're eating today ain't even organic. Pork will kill you. But what will unorganic pork do to you? It will kill you in the most heinous, atrocious manner that's possible.
Slavery in the food chain.
Come on. So we work hard because we want to experience the finer things of this American society. But to hit the finest of his society is the worst for us. His heaven is our hell. And our heaven is his hell.
Wow.
His heaven is our hell. Because his aspiration and his desire to set up his heaven has put us in hell.
There you go. There you go.
His advertisements, his white Jesus, his psychological and sociological principles of how he's running society has put our people in hell.
Literally.
His heaven is our hell. And that's why he lives in heaven in the nice neighborhoods and we live in hell in the neighborhoods that we live in. His heaven is our hell. And as long as we're chasing after his heaven as a black people, we are helping produce our hell. Even if we can experience a little bit of his heaven as an individual, we're putting most of our people in hell. It's a reality. Our heaven is his hell. Now, our problem as a people is not economic, and it's not educational. It's an issue of standards. It's an issue of standards. Do y'all hear the point that I'm making? It's not economic. Because you want more money so you can compete up to him. And sit next to him. And eat next to him. And sit next to him. That's what Dr. King wanted. Let's just sit and go to Marshall Fields with you. Let's sit in the restaurant next to you. So The more money we want, give us